During the winter months in the Northeast, it's very common for me to have a great influx in requests for zippers, especially during the years that I was mostly doing clothing alterations, and I had a shop front open in our village home. And now that I do not have an open shop front in the house, I definitely don't get quite as many, in part because I've transitioned into doing mostly bridal and slip covers, as well as teaching for my actual local work, rather than taking quite as many clients. But this is a jacket zipper that I recently replaced. And as you can see, sometimes it is hard to find an exact match, but there are a number of types of different zippers. So my favorite brand for replacement zipper is the brand YKK. So if you go into a fabric store like Joann Fabrics, you're going to find Coats and Clark zippers. At least this is my experience in the past. But I found that for a replacement zipper, they really aren't that durable, and frequently I've had issues with them defaulting after about a year. So about 10 years ago or more, I stopped using them, and in part because by that time my business had grown to use more of a wholesale supplier. So I get my YKK zippers from Wawak Sewing. They are also available other places online, but I do think that Wawak has the best pricing available. So if you notice the different types of zippers, there's what's called a molded plastic zipper, which is what is in this jacket here. And then there are nylon zippers. And this one is a two-way nylon zipper, which means that it has a pull at the top and bottom, so that you can pull, move the zipper pull up on the bottom, which this is predominantly people like them for longer coats, but also they are convenient, if you're driving a lot and you happen to have a zipper bulk where the seatbelt is, and you don't like your coat to ride up. So sometimes I've had people just ask to swap out a traditional zipper with a two-way zipper. Now there are a whole bunch of different metal options. I don't frequently work with them. I just have preferred the nylon and the molded plastic, but that is a personal preference. And also the size of the zipper matters. So if you find on the back of the zipper pull, there's going to be a size. So this one is a 5. And I will always use 5s to put in to my jackets. They do come, some come in size 8 and some come in size 10. But I prefer the size 5 if you're going for just a regular typical jacket, like winter coat. And one of the things that I think is most important to remember about zippers is, right, when it's broken, the garment, the jacket, is totally useless. And so even if it seems like a little bit of a complicated process to replace them, once you've mastered it, you're going to be extending the life of that zipper or that jacket for many, many years. I would say at least 5, if not 10 more years. And one of the more challenging things in a zipper is definitely, you see there's like a lining, and there's often a wind flap. So in my latest course, I'm going to show you how to separate them, and then you're going to use some skills of hand basting before putting it back on the machine. And I find this is the best method for making sure that the zipper isn't sliding as you're sewing. Definitely when I started learning how to do zippers, that was my biggest issue. I'd put in a whole zipper and find out that you'd get to the top and the two sides weren't lined up together, or even at the bottom and it wasn't lined up. So you want them to line up really perfectly. And then often there's a neck piece, or not a neck piece, but like there's stitching across the neck, and wanting to have it line up as you're zipping the zipper up so that it doesn't look skewed. And that's one of the reasons why I find that hand basting is so important before you take the jacket to the machine. The other tools that I use are just your everyday seam ripper for the long handled seam ripper. The short handled seam ripper does not give a lot of comfort to your hands, and it doesn't give you enough grip to be able to have enough pressure on your thread. So I really like the long handled seam ripper. And then also I use, this is a razor, so it's no Swiss razor, so this is going to be used to start cutting out the threads once you've opened the seam. So I hope that you'll join me for that class, and just consider the fact that every zipper that you replace is saving something from a landfill. I mean, even though we have kids sweatshirts that need new zippers, it's the same basic principle. If you're doing a fleece or something like a sweatshirt, one of the things to remember is that the fabric is stretchy a little bit, so make sure to measure the original zipper so that you know what size zipper or what the finished length zipper that you want to be. It doesn't matter if the replacement zipper is longer than the original zipper, because what's going to happen is you can actually just cut at like an inch or so above, like longer than you need it to be, and then I just end up either you can fold them and do a method of tying them off with like a nylon thread, or folding them into the seam. There's a couple of different methods. I also have some metal end stops that you can attach. So there are varying methods, but don't worry as much about the added length of the zipper, because they don't always come in the exact length of the jacket that you have.